head trading coach here at Tradespoon. Hello, LK. Good to see you. Wonderful Wednesday, Dennis. Where is everybody? I've been trading for a while, teaching for a while. That's my bio. Here are the disclosures, as usual. You know them, you love them. And hola to you, Ricardo. How are you, sir? Warm up before. I tell you what, my back is going to need quite the warm up. The 6 to 8 inches over the weekend, heavy snow. Did a number on my back, that's for sure. Okay, well, let's talk about the market. Let's talk about the market and see what we think. Market's down today. It's actually down near the lows. Am I bullish? Overall, yes. Am I bullish today? Nah, I'm waiting patiently. But overall, I'm definitely still bullish. In fact, I actually think today will, in fact, I'm ready to adapt as necessary, but yes. And we'll go through and we'll talk about I've got to change the spark plug next. That's the next one to work on. I just haven't had a chance, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to work on it. If I can't get it working, well, it made it 15, 16 years at least. So that's, about all you can expect, I would expect. All right. S&P down 0.79, Dow 0.42, NASDAQ down 0.9, Russell down 1.1. What's going on? Retail data came in hot. It wasn't just our retail data. In fact, I would actually say there was a greater unexpected uptick in the inflationary data out of England. Now, I know you're like, oh, what do we care about England? This was global inflation, right? This wasn't like, oh, America has inflation before and better than other countries did, but it is a global problem. And so if we see it spiking in one place, the gist of it was cut year to a 4-cut year, meaning what does the England central bank do? Now, our own Fed is still looking and deciding, and the probabilities that we're watching have shifted. I don't know if anyone pays attention. I'm going to jump straight to it. If you pay attention to this, now the January 31st meeting, that's the next Fed meeting, there have been no expectations that there's going to be so that there will be no expectations that the rates are going to cut starting in January. But when we look at March, we went from 2.5 to 1 to barely better than 1 to 1. So we're almost at even odds of a 25 basis point cut for the March 20th meeting. So the probability has shifted fairly significantly. It's not like we're like, oh, it's all of a sudden bearish. We're saying, hey, things are strong. There's no need for them to. We've seen that the consumers are still strong. We've seen that the employment is still staying quite strong. The labor market, both private payrolls and government, the non-farm. If we go out to the May 1st Fed expectations, you can see that now there's definitely, right, there's basically 9 to 1 that there's a cut, and even odds that it's the second cut. So we'll see, right? We'll see. Highly probable that we have at least 1, possibly 2. But that's a big shift, right? What's causing that shift? Sales came in stronger than expected. We were expecting 0.4, which was already better than 0.3, and they came in at 0.6. that's probably that information coupled with the slight uptick in inflation out of England. That's enough. Happy Wednesday, Koo. Thank you. Did I clean the carb and the fuel lines? Nah, I'm going to go with the easiest first. Change the spark plug. Does it start? Then hopefully, some seafoam will clean that out. Taking apart the carb, making me do something like that, I probably could do it. I'd have to film it. I'd rather go with the easiest solution if possible. The absolute easiest solution is go down to Home Depot and buy a new one. That's just the most expensive solution too. So my ease is fighting with my cheapness right now. We'll see who wins that tug of war. What else do we have? Tomorrow we have jobless claims, some real estate data, nothing really there. Some consumer sentiment Friday, nothing really there. Yeah. Yes. Okay. What else? What does Stella think? Stella is actually looking for a bullish kick. Now, she says it could come close, if not all the way down. This is what will be important to gauge is, does it come all the way? Does it come partly and not make it all the way before it kicks? That would be more bullish. It is looking for a higher high. I like this projection. This is in line with what I see. As long as we don't take out this low, remember, we're still well above the 50-day moving average. I'm okay with this. I would absolutely prefer this is a higher low and that we don't see very much selling through here. That would definitely be my my preference. Okay. Now let's keep going. So that is on the SPY. Stella, I would say, seems bullish enough for me. Not like outrageously bullish. If you want to see my posture, my posture dropped again. So I've now dropped 2 weeks in a row. I've dropped from a 6.5 to a 5.25. Enough that I have some concern. Not enough that I'm like, oh man, this thing's about to drop. Look, all I'm doing is scoring what I see. I've definitely seen a few diminished strength, but not weakness. I don't see weakness. I want to be clear about that. So I still see this as being mostly consolidative. Remember also, we'll get to it, but let me jump ahead. What do we tend to see here from the 17th through about the 27th, this little period of time? We tend to see a consolidation. That tends to be cyclically what happens. I feel very comfortable with what the cyclical market has done. Even this year, we got this bounce. Made some money. It was a nice little bullish bounce to start the year. Now what? Well, now we may have a little bit more extended, but after that, late January through April, through May, those are good months. I'm looking for bullishness. I'm looking for my bullishness to prevail. There's nothing disruptive that I've seen yet that's going to counter that. Here's the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, a little bit more of a sell-off. I don't see it. I'm feeling more comfortable than that. Let's take a look at the Dow. Somewhere in the middle, a little bit more towards the not bad, actually. Not bad. I actually would have expected worse. Surprising. It's holding up. There's a little bit of concern for me that interest rate environment will be beneficial to small caps. Small caps do better when money is cheap. It's harder for them to grow and sustain if they can't get access to capital for cheap. So when we see prospects of decreasing interest rates, we would expect the small caps to benefit from that. And when we see those expectations ebb, well, in the small caps, the question is, does it end up still finding its way into a what we would consider to be a bullish overall perspective? So why does the NASDAQ look low and the SPI look? That's just the nature of the algorithm, right? If the model picks up on bigger selling days, bigger candles, then it might then project that to be the short-term direction. That's why I always look at all four indices. Sometimes they work very much, see a divergence, and we have to decide, well, which one do we think represents the narrative that we're more prone to? I would say right now, the SPY and the Dow have the biggest bullish look. The Russell a little bit more sideways. The NASDAQ is the one that has some concern. The Stella has a tendency to overreact on the NASDAQ more so than any other, right? She has a more balanced approach, in my opinion, when it comes to analyzing and forecasting the S&P and the Dow. That's just my personal experience. So, yeah, what does it mean? It means, well, we should have some level of concern about it. But overall, concern is all I have. But there's no fear. I'm just saying, hey, let's be patient. Let's see how this plays out. If the sellers don't start ramping up, in fact, let's see. Have I gone through all of these? I have. I've looked at the economic calendar. Here's today's heat map. A little bit of healthcare. Other than that, it's mostly red. But that's okay. Why? Because I was already, I took profits over on Friday. I was talking about taking profits. It was yesterday, today. What's going on? Well, it's in a way that I'm like, oh my God, look at how strong the sellers are. Not even a little bit. Yesterday we had average volume. Today on the selling, we have less. We have 40 minutes left, but as of right now, average volume is at 80 million, just under. We're at 50 million. We might get to 65 million. We're still going to be under average and less than yesterday. What does that say about the sellers? It says they're not getting stronger, they're getting weaker. So if I get another doji, or if I get a little bit of a down day, and then we get another doji on Friday, and then come Monday we get a candle like this, and this has come down and gotten here in turns, that's a low and that's a higher low. I would look at that very bullishly. Great. Until I see otherwise, I think there's a good chance that happens. Now, if we come all the way down to this level, then it's not a higher low, it's the same low. But I would still be willing to trade that due to the fact of our proximity to the 50-day moving average. We're still well above. I still feel bullish. Look to take some profits at the previous high in case it channels, but then give it a chance to see if it can break out. And then on the breakout, we're ready to go again. I'm bullish. I'm looking for bullish trades. I believe we have a number of bullish setups occurring on the watch list. Nothing about today. Yeah, it's down. It's down almost 1%. Is it down on huge volume that says, oh man, the sellers are smashing this thing, taking control? Or does it look like, okay, we're watching the sellers to see how strong they are. And as of right now, they don't look that strong. It could change. I'm not going to make any judgment, but I'm saying this to me is creating the potential for setups in here. Okay. Did we get through everything? I think we did. Okay, let's get a quiz. Then we'll look at the VIX, of course. All right, this will be an interesting one. Okay, I'm gonna go across the bottom here, across the top here. A, B. Bob, you made it. You're a little late. A, B, C. There you go. A, B, C. Only came for the game just in time. Just in time. Ricardo is a B. Dennis is a B. Mark is a C. LK is a C. Bob is a C. I had another person without a name come in. Tom is a B. Ku is a B. Carmen is a C. Question she has: what indicators tell us best what the sellers are doing? Price. Price tells us best. Price is going down. It's the sellers in control. Price. It's just the sellers and the buyers ebb and flow. I feel like going crazy and saying A just because. In fact, I'm going to. I'm going to go look at Stella now. I'm going A. I think the buyers are going to just come surging back in. We're going to end up at 471.80. That's my. It's not based on much analysis. It's just simply my trick knee telling me. Let's see what Stella says. There's a good number of people today. We got a lot of people today answering. I love it. Okay, let's go to the intraday. And Stella says 470.68. 470. Oh man, she's like right at the line. I'm going to put the line at 470.70. So technically she's a C. She is a C. Stella's a C. I'm an A. I'm feeling bullish. I feel like the buyers are just they're gonna come in. They're gonna surprise us all. They're gonna shock the world. Shock the world. Okay. Let's go look at the VIX and then let's go look at the watch list. I'm not holding my breath for trades today. I think it's a day of watching, analyzing, assessing. I better check my 8-ball. And foremost, that VIX. So I told you, if you had bullish trades, would be a good idea to hedge. If you didn't have bullish trades, you're fine. But you might even think of speculating. Did anybody hedge? Did anybody speculate? Now, you might think, oh, the VIX is spiking. Keep in mind, we're still only at 15. We're still only at 15. It's not that high. Is it higher than the previous highs? Yes. But is it something where I'm like, oh man, that is super concerning? No, not at all. This will cause my score to drop. The fact that I've got this higher high right here, I will drop my score. The fact that we have industrials starting to kind of ease up and move out of a leading position, I might see my sector rotation score drop a little bit. We may still see the market posture decline a little bit, but overall, I still feel pretty okay with what we're seeing. The inverse ETFs. Okay, speculated on the inverse ETF. You're just looking for 3 or 4 days. The one thing I don't ever want is I don't ever want to be in a nice bullish market, speculate a little bit in a counter trend fashion, and then find that because I'm having to manage counter trend trades that are starting to go against me, I'm missing my opportunity to put good trades on in the direction of the pervasive trend. Right now, the pervasive trend is more up than not. So I don't want to allow any counter trend trading to interfere with directionally trading with the general direction of the market, which for me right now is still bullish. Let's get to the watch list. Agilent Technologies. This one's new for me. I put it on from healthcare. I don't love it today. I thought if it can hold above the 50, but it's testing. I have no problem adding a watch list for a few days and then absolutely bailing on it immediately after. That's not concerning to me at all, right? Not even a little bit. So if it doesn't start to move, it's gone. Apple's trying to hold up, but I'm a spectator. There's no trade for me developing on Apple. Apple's now in this consolidation. I need it to break the consolidation. I would prefer to get a little bit of a higher high. Then I need to see a higher low on the other side of this thing. Then I would trade it, but I have to be careful for earnings. Great, let's just watch it. We want it. We're rooting. I'm a spectator, but I'm rooting for Apple. I would always rather be bullish. I am always more inclined to be bullish when Apple's bullish. There's a direct correlation there. AIG. It looked like it was going to develop. It's a little lower still. I'm still okay with it, but not much longer. It's got to figure some things out. It can't just sort of keep on meandering down and all of a sudden it's down here. It's got to hold above the 50. I'd really like to see something in here hold up and turn the other way. Great. Then I have a trade. AMD. I caught AMD for this, was out of it here, and then this happened and I got none of it. Okay, I followed my rules. I'm not going to be like, oh man, I should have done something differently. No. I did what I was supposed to do. I let it run as much as I could let it run. 3 days, come on. You know, the number of times you get this coming out of 3 days like that versus you get something worse, the probability says to get out. I follow the probability. Now what? Now I'm waiting for another trade and wondering if it's going to come in time before earnings. Great, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Amgen. New one from the healthcare sector. Yes, this looks good. I like it. I like it. Amazon. So Amgen, I would trade starting tomorrow, potentially. Right? It's consolidating. Back. Looks like it's setting up for another trade. Any higher low, anything above the 50 looks fantastic. Put it on the list. AXP. Put it on the list. Yeah, absolutely. If this can stabilize above 175, above the 50-day, somewhere in here and turn, love it. Boeing looks like trash. Nothing there for us. No interest. BK overextended, waiting for consolidation. BLDR. Here's my concern. It actually moved, and I actually traded this one. It moved. It did okay. Made a little bit. This here, if it makes a higher low, fine. I am definitely concerned that we made a lower high. But hey, if it moves into a triangle position, fantastic. I would love to see if I could catch it moving out of that. It's got to be a higher low. I am definitely of industrials didn't get to their old highs, and it makes me wonder if these are due for a little bit of a consolidation before they figure out and then reverse their way back out of this. Yeah. BLK, nope, nothing for me there. Need to see more. BX, nothing here. At this point, it's too much. Now it's a consolidation, right? It's too much. I need it to break out, come back, and do something like that. You can see, where did we do that? Here, break out, pull back, boom. That was not only a good trade, that was the start of all of this. That's what we need to have over here to think we've got something coming our way. City, viable. Higher high, higher low, above the 50 through earnings, looking like it's in a position that it could become on our radar for an entry quite quickly. Love it. Caterpillar, no, that's industrial weakness. Be careful there. COF, maybe. Oil, nothing there for us. Costco, hopefully you squeeze what you could squeeze out of it. It looks like it's hitting some resistance. Great. Take your profits if you haven't already. Wait for the pullback, then try to do it again. Right? And then try to do it again. CrowdStrike was one that I had a great run on. Got out. It's pulling back all the way back to 260. No problem. Let's wait for this thing to consolidate. Another trade setting up, ready to go. CXX, I don't know. Nothing really there for me. Delta, new lows after earnings, nothing there. DHI, it's on the list. Earnings are right around the corner, so be careful. Maybe. The Dow looks okay. Elanco Animal Health. I like animal health. I like this trend. I'd consider it. Fastenal didn't do much, hitting some resistance. It's got earnings in the next day or so. Nothing there for me. GE, okay. I stayed out. It made a nice move. Now it's setting up again. You can rest assured it should be good. Watch out for earnings right around the corner. Gold. Yeah, gold seems to be maybe breaking down. Right? Failing to get to the old high and now breaking this trend line. Be careful there if you're gold traders. Google, I love, just had a good trade there. Got out, waiting for it to reload. The reload seems to be in play. We have what appears to be time before the next earnings announcement comes. Goldman, I'd say it's viable. It got through earnings. We'll see what happens as it tries to hold up. Home Depot, good trade. Nice signal right here. Made a move, new high. Plenty of time to exit near the high. Now it looks like it's rolling over. Great. Wait for the next trade. If you missed the old one, if you missed the last one, catch the next one. I look around at this watch list and it's full of things that just made bullish moves, still making highs. These are leaders in their sectors, strong companies. Look at IBM, just made a new high. I did not catch that one. I tried to catch this one. It fell apart. I did not like this, but a bounce. I didn't like the fact that it was a slightly lower low, but the market just didn't care. ICE failed to launch last time. We'll see if it holds up. Oh, Intel was much the same. I really feel like some of these are developing these potential head and shoulders. I mean, nothing is confirmed until it breaks. But I definitely have some concerns here. IWM, yeah, this is what I'm saying. We came down, tried to hold this low, couldn't move off of it. Now we're breaking further down. We've just gotten below the 50. If we get all the way down here, it starts to get a little bit iffier still. So the small caps are holding up or not holding up in this case. JP Morgan, nah, it's so weird and choppy. I would rather trade. Great signal here. Just getting good signals. Just looking for the next one. Fabulous. Microsoft. I did not take this. I watched it, waiting for the breakout. It gave me the breakout, waiting for the pullback, higher low. Anything at or above 376.5. And hopefully we have time to get in and out before earnings comes. Netflix still looks viable. Running out of time before earnings, though, so be careful there. NVIDIA, did not catch NVIDIA. I did catch AMD, but did not catch NVIDIA. That's a great, strong run. New highs. Now what? Now we got to wait. Wait for the pullback. Wait for it to to test and see what the sellers do next. Picard, I think that one failed to go. I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that. PNC, that's a maybe. Did we take out this low? Yes. Is it still above the 50 and it still look like it's setting up? Yes. I would still say viable. Viable for a trade. QQQ failed to get to the previous high, but looks strong. If we get a low that is at or above this 396 level, great. I think that's a viable trade. That should be something we're considering. RCL. Meandering below. Does it have the ability to maintain that steepness? What would it take? How many cruises would they have to sell? More than they're selling, I would imagine. I think this may be a little bit overblown at this point. RXRX, Recursion Pharmaceuticals. It's got some momentum. It just moved from 5 up here to 14. Where has this thing been in the past? Ooh, look at that. All the way up to 42. Low, not getting back to the 50. If it holds support here and turns, I like it. I like it. SMCI, I like it. It's pulling back. Just made a new higher high. Buyers are in control. Snap, not as much. I don't like lower lows. Could you still make an argument for it? Yes, the fact that it's above its 50, I think you could definitely make an argument for still putting on bullish trades that are bouncing above the 50. SPY. Oh, well, looky. Looky at the buyers. Who do we have to get? We have to get above this 471.72. We're at 471.70. Oh, look at those buyers, you guys. That's tough. The accountant, Bob, you know I like to jinx myself just because. The sellers, it's taking a while. It is above the 50. Anytime you have what you think is a valid bounce above the 50, there's an argument to be made. But I don't like when I see things like this. It just looks a little bit more down than not. Here's the VIX. Oh, the VIX is coming back down. Oh, look at that. We're not too much above this line here. If we get right back below it, tomorrow, that's a maybe for a quick recovery. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this. Okay, I'm actually willing to trade. I actually missed this trade right here. Thought about it, and it went. Pull back. If I get a higher low, then there is a potential for a trade. XBI, biotech, a little below this low, but still in a beautiful trend, still above the 50. I still think that is viable. Materials, I'm not seeing it. Steel anymore. Communication services looks great, very bullish. Always like to see old favorites leading the way. Energy is down. Like to see that energy is not contributing to any potential flare-ups in inflation on our end. Financials still looks great, still looks strong, still looks bullish. Industrials looks a little more concerning for me. Yeah, a little bit more concerning. So I'll be careful, right? I'll be careful. I want to see what happens with some things. So yes. What else? Let's look at technology. Technology looks just fine. It almost got back to that old high where it's like, oh, this looks like it could be another one of those potentially developing head and shoulders. No, I don't think that now. Now I think it looks like it's going to be ongoing strength. No problems there. Staples. So what am I looking for on staples and utilities? Remember, staples and utilities are your defensive sectors. A bit of healthcare, but healthcare can fluctuate between growth and defensive. These are purely defensive sectors. And as such, they are. I'm looking to see if there's spikes that indicate like a surge in defensiveness. And right now, when I look at staples, I think, oh, this is very steady. Of course, it's going to be to some extent bullish, right? If the overall market is bullish, I'm not expecting defensives to be bearish. I'm expecting them to just be somewhat tepid, to linger a little behind. And that's what I'm seeing here. If all of a sudden we saw this thing surging, I'd be like, whoa, what's going on? There's some defensive money flowing in. We don't see that. And when we look at utilities, even less so. In fact, utilities, which for a minute there showed up on my sector rotation as like, well, this is odd. But ultimately, nothing. And in fact, at this point, my read on the sectors is that other than a little bit of concern on behalf of industrials just slowing down, not reversing, just slowing down, I don't have much. So, when I look at today, I think to myself, this looks actually quite strong. There's a lot of stocks on my selling pressure. We have a second day of selling. Did the volume? We're going from 85 13 minutes, and these are some of the most active. Let's say we still get 10 million more shares in that last 13 minutes. We're at 65 million, down from 80 million. What does that tell us? It tells us that the sellers are running out of steam already. They're not increasing, they're decreasing. Could it change? Of course it could change. But what I'm saying is the more I see that, the more I think to myself, we're in an okay position and we should be ready for bullish trades to set up. Okay. Questions, comments, concerns? Let's go back in here. Oof, this is a tough one because, I need to look at WM. Sorry, Bob. Let me pull that up. If you have any stocks that you think I'm missing that we should be watching, give it to me. Give it to me. I went and saw a movie the other day. The Beekeeper was a lot of fun. I'm a Jason Statham fan, but that was a fun movie. If you like action movies, whether they're realistic, go take a look. The Beekeeper, WM. I like the trend. Running out of steam today, waiting for thing consolidates back above, let's say 177. I think that looks nice. SoFi. Take a look at SoFi. S-O. I always want to be thinking about a consolidation versus a sell-off. And when it gets down here, below the 50, I'm like, oh, that's more of a sell-off. Even when it's above the 50, I'm a little concerned. This is my problem. And you can see it barely got back above it. And then, bam, we're dropping again. So at this point, this thing is in a consolidation. And until I see it break and hold, I'm expecting it to keep dropping. Right? I need this to break up, get back at least to the old high, then give me a higher low on this other side. Right? You can see over here. Every time it would come down, it would break up, and then it would come all the way back, and we're not interested. Break up, come all the way back, not interested. Break up, Small pullback, interested in. That's the first time right there that I'd be interested in trading that. That's the first time. Maybe you could have caught the second one. That would have been tough. That's a very, very difficult entry. I don't love the way that he's going to keep throwing out signal after signal after signal. I think, yeah, it looks okay. It looks okay. That's my thought. Okay. All right. Any others that I'm missing? Any others that I'm missing? We may call it early, and as you can see here, whoever thought, man, it looks like the buyers might be coming in. Whoever thought that is like looking like a genius right now. Bob said, I'm going to get my first single trophy. My first single trophy of the week, maybe the year, definitely the week. But I get those all the time. I mean, I have a huge, huge collection of singles that are mine. Mara, Marathon Oil. Let's take a look. We'll take a look, and then I'm going to call it. Marathon. No, that's not Marathon Oil. That's Marathon Digital. Either way, I don't like it. Why? Well, because you can see that big strolled off again, this time below the 50. At this point, yeah, there's nothing here for me right now. This looks like a shark frenzy that finished shark frenzying on the way up, and now it's going to shark frenzy down. Like, the question is, does this thing find a home closer to 15, closer to 10? I don't love things like this, right? I don't know what these guys do, but a little bit concerning. All right, let's go give the gold medal. Who's it going to? I believe it's going to go to A's. A's out there. Anyone who's an A? A's. Congratulations. You guys are so smart and handsome and charming. All of those things. I will be back, and I hope you will join me when I'm back on Friday. Friday morning, pre-market, first 45 to 50 minutes of the market. Join me for that. Bitcoin, someone said, oh, look at the futures. Let's look at the BTC futures. BTC. Yeah, it's holding up. Got almost back to 50. We'll see. I'm not much of a Bitcoin speculator, but it had a surge back here, and it's been moving again. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. It's great to see you. Be safe if it's cold and snowy where you are. And as always, happy trading.